But on to the central point of this video, the actual transition process. It took nearly 1.5 years to actually be seen by the gender clinic. I understand that the waiting list are about 2 years now. There aren't enough clinics and medical staff trained in gender identity to cater to all the trans people out there. Something probably needs to be done about that. Anyway, in I think May of 2016, I finally had my first appointment at the gender clinic. This was just an initial kind of appointment. The actual psychotherapy appointments began in November of that year. Yes, nearly 2 years after I'd seen the doctor about my problem. We have to go through psychological evaluation before they'll let us get hormones on the NHS. Some trans people get impatient and start ordering hormones online or something. This is not recommended because hormones can be risky if you get the wrong dose, and getting any kind of medication through unofficial channels is dangerous. I thought it was important to do things by the book. I also decided to be 100% honest when I went to those psychotherapy appointments, on the understanding that I wasn't entirely certain of what was best for me anyway, so if I'm honest, then I'll get the right kind of care for me anyway. Naive, I know. I may have dressed up a little for those appointments, but nothing I wasn't comfortable or happy wearing anyway. But I certainly wouldn't turn up without makeup, and was more likely to wear a skirt than the rest of the time, although as I got more comfortable with the process I often wore jeans as well. I don't agree with trying to fake things and be a stereotype. After talking a lot about my childhood, my feelings about my own body, how I identified and what medical care I wanted, the first lot of psychotherapy appointments came to an end and the team met to discuss and make a decision about me. I got a letter saying they decided I needed more psychotherapy appointments. I was disappointed, so it was in autumn of 2017 that I returned for more psychotherapy. Now 3 years after my initial visit to the doctor. I had by this time changed my name by deed poll. A relatively simple process where you pay a little bit of money, fill in a form and have someone else sign it. It allows you to change your title too, so I changed it to Ms. MS. I don't agree with the Mrs. thing. I'm a bit feminist like that. I found out when I returned for psychotherapy that it was because I was uncertain about whether I was non-binary or a trans woman that they had decided I needed more psychotherapy. It was my own uncertainty that had held me back. But she did also tell me that she had written emerging woman in her notes from last time, so she could already see a change in me. Luckily by this time I was more certain than ever that I was a trans woman and that I definitely wanted hormones. Finally, on March of 2018, I got the letter saying that I could begin hormone therapy. I went to the doctor with the letter and I started my hormones in April 2018. Many trans women take estrogen tablets, but in older women other methods are often advised. I decided I would take my estrogen in gel form. I just rub it on my thighs every morning and let it soak in. I also have to get injections every 3 months to block my testosterone. They start you off on the monthly ones for the very sensible reason of making sure you don't have an adverse reaction to it or side effects or anything, but very soon you start having the stronger 3 monthly injections. I understand that in the States, possibly here too in some cases, people take something called anti-androgens, but with my clinic it's blockers. These are the same as puberty blockers, by the way. They're called GnRH agonists, and they basically tell your gonads to stop making your natural hormones. Hey, cut it out with all the testosterone. She doesn't like it, okay? I almost immediately felt better with regards to my mental health. A dark reservoir of misery and anxiety that was always beneath the surface with me, so much so that I just accepted it as normal, just completely disappeared almost overnight. Don't get me wrong, I can still get miserable and anxious about things, but my baseline mood is calm and at peace, which I'd literally never known before. Even when I'm feeling really miserable, which does still happen, or anxious and worried about relationships and personal interactions, which still happens an awful lot, my brain is not really mean and horrible to me anymore. I don't think negative things about myself. I'm on my side now, not against myself, and that's an important difference. I feel in tune with my emotions. I don't think I'm pathetic because of them, or that I have no right to feel them, or that I'm a horrible person or anything. I feel them, I honour them, I express them, I let them pass. You know, like a healthy, normal person. The loss of libido, which I was worried about before I started hormones, I do like a good wank, has actually been a blessing and a relief. I can get horny when I want to. I still have a really horny mind, but I'm not consumed by a constant, hungry restlessness. I can think horny thoughts when I'm out and about, and actually enjoy them more than before, because they don't lead me to become distracted and frustrated until I masturbate, like they used to. My mind is in charge now, not my body. I can be horny on my terms, and I love it. Hormones have been the best thing that ever happened to me. I didn't realise how depressed I was every single day until I took hormones and it all stopped. I don't feel like life is too much and I can't cope with it anymore. I am finding confidence and clarity like never before. Hormones have been nothing short of a miracle for me. Around the time I got the letter to start hormones, I also got a letter that I could send with depot and passport application to get the gender changed on my passport as well as my name. So about a year after I changed my name by depot, I got my name and gender changed on my passport also. They won't let you change your gender without a letter from a medical professional. I still haven't changed my birth certificate or applied for a gender recognition certificate. I think the only thing that a gender recognition certificate does is allow you to change your birth certificate anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong. About 3 months into hormones, I got a letter from the gender clinic to take with me to a specific place where I could get laser hair removal on my face. Yes, as part of gender transition, you can have 8 free laser hair treatments on the NHS. I think this is a fairly new thing. It's been wonderful. Very painful while you're having it done, like excruciatingly painful, but the results are wonderful. It's only really the white hairs that come through now, and they're invisible after I've shaved. Having a totally smooth, seemingly hairless chin after I've shaved has been a godsend. I've often wondered why I didn't do this years ago, even long before I realised I was trans. There was nothing but social stigma stopping me after all, and I would have definitely appreciated the real results even back then. I also went for speech and language therapy to learn how to alter my voice, but I was very lazy about keeping up with the exercises, and I eventually decided that I don't like faking something in order to conform. This whole journey has been about me being myself. Conforming to gender stereotypes is totally at odds with what I'm about. So fuck it, the world will just have to deal with it. My voice isn't very deep or anything anyway, although how I sound does annoy me sometimes, and it is really frustrating when people call me mum and then change it to sir when they hear me speak.